The views and opinions of the Nissan Nation podcast are simply that. They are views and opinions of its guests or hosts. They do not reflect Nissan corporate or otherwise. Now, a DRB and KGB media presentation, the Nissan Nation podcast. Hit it, Kelly.
Recorded live, coast to coast, it's a Nissan Nation podcast. From camping, racing, and all points in between. The NNP is your Nissan Nation podcast. Now start your engines and welcome in your hosts, David, Danny, and Holden.
What is going on, Nissan Nation? From all things Nissan here in Middle Tennessee to wherever you're listening tonight, this is your Nissan Nation podcast, and what a show we have. So, as it was referenced in the last show, me and young Holden took off for Arizona, and an epic adventure was had. It for those that have never just drove to the opposite coast for I won't say unknown reasons, because there was actually a known reason for it, but to get there and to just basically go, all right, time to go right back, is that is a feat in itself. And we tried to document this best we could. We've got some YouTube stuff coming up for it, and met some interesting people along the way. Of course, just hanging out with like the likes of Holden, and that's interesting in itself. And but It was a fun trip, man. I can't say enough for Regal and Holden with Blackwatch Customs and everybody for having me go along with it and help document this. Hopefully our buddies over there at Regal Nissan thought some of those pictures and stuff we did were well worth funding me to go out there with them. But anyways, so I hope you guys are having fun tonight. I don't really know how long this episode is going to be, but it is episode 77. And before we get into all that, big shout out to everybody who has been supporting the show here lately, man. We've had record turnouts the past 3.5 months, and you guys have floored us with all the support, and I want to say thank you very much to that. And like always, if you like what we do, hit our website, go to the Amazon banner, buy something through Amazon. I don't care what you buy. It could be $1, $10, $1 million. We don't care. We just get a small kickback from that from Amazon, and they want to know where you shopped and found them from. So if you guys would do that, I would be much obliged, as well as the guys. We try to use that to either help fund the hosting fees or everything, or we try to use it to actually fund the guys to get together every once in a while. So thank you very much for that. Also, I want to say thank you once again to Regal Nissan of the greater ATL area. If you are in that area needing parts, hell, if you're not even in the area and you need parts, just give those guys over there at Regal Nissan, give them a like, at least on the socials, and tell them the NNP sent you. Also, when you do that, hashtag the Regal Beagle, because Holden isn't a fan of that name, and that truck has been named now, so the Regal Beagle it is. So, sailing out of the way. So I'll get into this a little bit, and we talk about it on the Titan interview, because that's what this actually is. It's a Titan interview. So Holden shows up the night before. We just two guys shooting the crap a little bit. I take him around. He's been to Murfreesboro before, but I took him around, showed him the Nissan plant, which for those that have not seen the Nissan plant and the ungodly, just huge building that it is. Last I heard, it was the largest auto manufacturing under one roof in the United States, and I'm pretty sure that is correct. But so we drove him around, got to see where all those Altimas and stuff that the dealership over there orders. Drove around, hit the hay, because we had a long trip ahead of us. So let's see, that had been Sunday night. Come Monday morning, 5 a.m. that buzzer rings, man, and I'm used to getting up that early anyways, but I hear Holden stirring upstairs in the podcast studio, and I know he was itching. I think Holden was itching to go as soon as he got here. But so we do it to it, man. It literally took me 15 minutes. Took Holden 15 minutes to pack up everything that we needed, and off we were gone, man. Off to the great state of Arizona. So as you're going to hear in this, we talk a little bit, and we had there was one little spot of audio technical difficulties there we had with Fat Finger Dave by accident. I forget what happened. Something, I think a battery went dead or something, caused me to push a button. So without further ado, let's get into what Holden and Dave are doing in the Nissan Titan, the Regal Beagle. Here we go, lock and loaded. Pull up those seat belts and let's go. What is going on, Nissan Nation? It's your buddy Dave and Holden here. We are on the last stretch of our big journey, Holden.
Home stretch.
The home stretch. We got at this moment we got 292 miles to my house, and you got another couple hundred to yours.
Yeah, another 230 or so.
So we are going to make it home on this Thursday. We this whole trip, I think I just calculated, it's going to be like 3,500 miles in 4 days, which is, I mean, I guess if you're a truck driver out there, you know, my hat's off to you because you guys do that stuff. But for guys who aren't built, or not built, but not used to doing a trip like this, it's been a pretty epic adventure.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of the fastest, longest trips I've had out to the West Coast. So it's definitely been a fun trip and a fast trip. I think some people have been surprised how fast we've been going.
Right, and hell, I thought when you brought me along, I thought, well, he just needs a co-driver. And Holden's like, no, hold my beer, buddy. I got this. I'm doing it all. So we've had a good time so far, man. So we started out. Holden you show up at my house on a Sunday evening, and because we wanted to get bright and early through Nashville and all that. So it was like 5:15 we left. We're out.
Yep.
And luckily there was a bypass around Nashville we could dodge, and before we know it we're in Memphis, and before we know it the GPS told us the wrong turn.
Yeah, it was one of those, the GPS said one thing but the picture on the GPS kind of showed another thing. So next thing we know, we're putting our trailer skills to the test early on in the trip by taking this trailer right down through the middle of Memphis.
There's nothing like going through old downtown Memphis in a because this isn't just like a car trailer. This is a heavy equipment trailer that you got on the back of this thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit too big of a trailer than what we need, but my normal pull-behind trailer that I would use, we had a bunch of farm equipment on it. This one was open, so we just said, screw it, we'll just grab this one. I think it ended up working out better having the fifth wheel.
Yeah.
As opposed to the pull-behind. But yeah, it definitely, downtown Memphis with a fifth wheel is not ideal.
No, it wasn't. Not at it had to be like 7 or so, 8 in the morning, I think. It was pretty early. Of course, when you're riding around in this Regal, the Regal Beagle, as I've dubbed it, and you get lots of cool looks when you're going downtown too, because this is done up in the Cummins Nissan, what do they call that? A pre-runner? I don't know what they called their version of this truck.
Yeah,
a trail chaser.
They did.
Yeah. So like Cummins big on the side, man. It's red, white, and black stripes. You get a lot of attention riding around in this truck. So Memphis was pretty fun going that way. And before we knew it, we're over the Mississippi River into Arkansas, and we're used to the scenery in Arkansas. We're used to this, that's where we are now. We're used to the green grass. There's maple trees, all kinds of trees everywhere, kudzu, you name it. But it's like as soon as you get out of Arkansas, it's like bam.
Yeah, almost as soon as we crossed the line to Oklahoma, it was Indian Casino.
Yes.
And then right to flat farmlands and cattle. Almost instantly. Like, it was almost weird how that happened.
Yes, it was very strange. And of course, the whole trip, once you hit, if you're from the East Coast and not used to casinos, maybe being Atlantic City or Tunica, Mississippi, a couple places, like, you travel 40 down going towards the West Coast, and that's all it is like casinos and abandoned houses, it seems like.
Yeah, Indian casino, gas station with casino inside.
Yes, which I about got thrown out of. I didn't realize you're not allowed to take pictures in the gas station casino.
Yeah, we barely made it to Oklahoma, and Dave's already trying to get arrested and thrown out of the trip. We decided to go in and play some slots, and I turned around and Dave's trying to take selfies, and they're coming at him. Sir, we're going to ask you to stop taking pictures. Pictures are for winners.
That's what they told me.
What Dave was told. Pictures are for winners, so I guess Dave does not look like a winner.
I guess I have loser written all over my hat or something. I don't know. But I've not rode around in diesels much, so I've been quite surprised, like how quiet this truck's been. The performance of this truck, of course, for a diesel, it has a smaller fuel tank, so we expected a few more stops than probably most people would. If you had a big 2500 or F250 or something, I'm sure they've got a 30 to 40 gallon tank in those. So other than stops, though, which seemed to work out great for bathroom breaks, it's been like the performance of this vehicle's been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pulled its weight.
Literally.
Literally. Because, I mean, once we got past Oklahoma and kind of into New Mexico and then Arizona, when we started hitting some hills and whatnot, I mean, you knew you had a trailer with you, but it wasn't anything we were worried about. Never had an issue where we were worried about hills or anything. So, definitely pulled great. But like you said, yeah, this gas tank's a hair smaller, so if you could get one, if you were doing trips like this more regularly, I definitely would see the investment interest in the Titan fuel tanks that they have available. Yeah,
what do they bump it up, like 30 maybe?
I think it's something like that, 30 to 35. I'm not sure the exact spec on what it is. Like I said, I've never really seen a need for one, but maybe after this trip, if I ever was going to do something.
Well, I know we called in and talked to your dad about it, and he was like, yeah, maybe we need a Titan tank on that thing.
Yeah, definitely. If we're going to maybe do something like out to Moab or something, like you said, it's nice because you're stopping a few times, so we made good time even with the stops we've had to make, and at least keeps you fresh, stretching your legs out a little bit, so you kind of got that too.
Yeah, and you need, after this is our 4th day on the road, you need a good couple times to stretch your legs, man.
Yeah, it's definitely starting to catch up a little bit just from being cooped up every time we get out. I'm kind of like, I just almost want to go run a lap or something.
That was me. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I think when you picked me up yesterday, I walked to that McDonald's. I ran kind of to you, and I was just kind of like, man, this feels good, kind of just to some movement. Because I don't think we've probably averaged 2,000 steps a day, probably.
No, it's pretty much been wake up, get in the truck, drive, get out, and go to sleep. I think last night in the casino, walking around the casino was the most walking I've done at one time all week.
Yeah, and trucker code here, man. He was trying to get over. Too late. Sorry, trucker.
He doesn't have bright enough blinkers,
I guess. But as you can, we are recording this as we're driving. We're still in Arkansas, so if you can hear, this truck is pretty quiet. I mean, I think this truck is quieter than my V8, than the Endurance V8, as far as overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very quiet. I mean, that was one thing we were talking about yesterday, and then as soon as we stopped, there was a guy there. He had a newer Dodge, but he had deleted. I mean, it sounded awesome, but I was telling Dave, I mean, imagine driving that this long, just that. I mean, anyone who's seen my Xterra or heard my Xterra, I like loud vehicles and I like loud trucks. But every once in a while, it's nice just to be able to take a trip and not blow out other people's eardrums. So I couldn't imagine driving something super loud like that for this far. I mean, I think it's cool, but it is nice just to be able to relax.
Oh, yeah.
Not having to crank up the music super loud to try to drown anything out. And
because
to yell.
When you'd even set the stage, you're like, dude, we're going to be having some jams coming up here. And I'm like, okay, he's going to crank this stuff up. And it's like, you didn't need to crank the radio up, man. It's been, my hat's off to Nissan for this, like the development of this vehicle. You know, they've taken some crap for how long it took to get the vehicle out, but it's definitely. I mean, I enjoy my normal Titan V8, but I was surprised, like, the ride quality of this vehicle. Going out there, we're pulling a 4,000 pound trailer. It's, you know, there's Oklahoma, for those that know Oklahoma, is a bumpy road. And, you know, we knew it a few times, but, you know, this is definitely a vehicle I could see myself just riding around town in and not bother me at all. We did once we got, let's see, so how far did we drive the first day? We did like 17 hours, I think, right?
Yeah, it was about 1,100 miles.
Yeah, so we pushed it 5 in the morning. I think we didn't shut it, I don't know, whatever the math is on that. I'm too tired to know it. But we didn't shut it down till late that night. I really think Holden wanted to keep going if he could have.
Yeah, I thought about pushing on to Albuquerque, but we kind of found a good spot. And Albuquerque was about 2 hours away, and I didn't want to get. It's one of those issues where you don't want to go too much further because you're feeling good then, but you don't know how you're going to feel 45 minutes down the road. So we just went ahead.
Yeah.
Called it a night there. Found a, pretty much brand new hotel they had just opened up with a Denny's right next door. So. Well,
the Denny's was a plus unless you're on a keto diet, like I've been, and then Bad Influence over here popped in and.
When you're west of the Mississippi, carbs don't count. That's what I've been told.
They don't. Okay. That's why all the people on the West Coast are so skinny, because the carbs don't count.
Yeah, that's what Danny told me at least.
Yes.
Carbs don't count on the West Coast.
Well, thanks for that heads up, Danny. But yeah, he starts talking about pancakes, and I'm like, Jesus, I haven't had a pancake probably since December of last year, and I'm like, man, I could go for like some syrup and. So I ended up getting, I forget, it was some make your own breakfast thing with pancakes, white toast, sausage, eggs. And I'm like, Fat Boy Dave popped out real quick, like, hey, let's go. Let's do this. And then we're leaving, and Holden's like, you had a big ass breakfast.
Yeah, I had the lumberjack.
Yeah, and then he walked out going, man, I really could just turn around and go eat another one of those. And I was like, where in the hell you put this stuff? But the first day was a really good day, man. We got all of our politics out of the way the first day. We
went ahead, solved all the world's problems.
Yeah.
Just forgot to write it down, so.
Even though I keep getting those spam calls from Washington, D.C., I'm not sharing how we're going to solve the world's issues, but.
It's actually probably the FBI listening to us. And like, hey, those were really good ideas. We need y'all to come. Yeah. Y'all just drive on out here.
Yeah, we don't need you to be elected officials. We're just putting you in power right now. But it's amazing what a road trip will do for you. Yeah, you'll get all the world's problems solved real quick. But so day 2, we got through Albuquerque. We were Breaking Bad, as I said, going through Albuquerque, man. And we didn't need to call the lawyer Saul. So but Albuquerque is that's a cool looking town, man. Of course, a lot of turquoise everywhere. I guess.
Yeah, lots of turquoise. And there's that confusing part where the road, it looked like just spaghetti with all the bridges, intersections. And I think it's so confusing it even confused the GPS, because the GPS just said, continue straight until further instructions.
Yeah, I was like,
it must not know what ramp, bypass, where we're at. It's like, just keep going straight. We'll figure out where you are from there, and then we'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, I've never had a GPS just kind of be like, hey, man, it's on you right now. But, so day 2, we were just on the east coast, the east coast side of Albuquerque, like 200 miles, I think, or so.
Yeah.
And so we crank it, and we're getting through there, and we get into Arizona, and of course the scenery just keeps changing and changing. Well, then we didn't pay attention to when you type in your thing in the GPS. A lot of times it instantly goes to the shortest distance to get you there. And so I'm thinking, oh man, we're going to go through Flagstaff, Winslow, Arizona, Flagstaff, and all that. And it takes us, what was that town called?
Payson. Yeah, it took us off the main highway to a backside through a national forest.
Yeah, which was epic. Like, we're going through, it looked like Colorado. We both kind of commented on that, like, man, this looks just like Colorado.
Yeah, we got off onto the national forest. You could see where forest fires had been through there, flat and everything. That's when we stopped, got some drone footage, but then we just started climbing. We just kept climbing, up to a little bit over 8,000 feet.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how, I mean, I knew like Moab is like around 4,000 generally on up. So I didn't realize how high, because we're bottom ground people, man. We're 5 to 1,000 feet kind of people from Tennessee and Georgia, and I just didn't realize how much we had gained.
Yeah, so you had all the pine trees, and yeah, it definitely started looking a lot like Colorado. It looked like the kind of place I was fully expecting to see an elk, and still haven't seen an elk.
We've seen a lot of elk crossing signs.
Lots of elk crossing, just no elk actually doing any crossing.
And we couldn't figure out how, like, the elk knew where to cross.
Yeah.
We talked to our buddy Jim Bob. We asked him a few questions when we were on that way too. Jim Bob, he had answers for us about the windmills and stuff, and we asked him about the elk, and he explained that I guess it was a treaty or something. He said that with the elk that they got that 20-mile stretch.
Yeah, they got the 20-mile stretch. That explained the elk crossing. But yeah, definitely it was because the times I've been through Arizona has been, I mean, just on the desert side, more on the West Coast side from when I was stationed out in California. So I didn't realize there was, mountains and pine trees and very, very much like Colorado. So it was definitely cool and definitely put the truck to the test, because then we started coming down hills, back up hills, lots of elevation changes and gains.
Which a lot of people don't understand. Like vehicles and elevation, it's a whole different animal. Like like if you go running for 100 feet and you're huffing air, guess what? That vehicle's probably doing the same thing.
Yeah, there was definitely a couple times when we started getting up really high, and they wanted, I mean, and the grades were pretty steep too, where you could kind of feel, this truck wasn't, the computer in the truck maybe was even like, hey, we're used to having oxygen, now all of a sudden there's not a lot of oxygen. But it still pulled. I mean, we were in the left lane passing other trucks with trailers and things like that, not driving dangerous or anything, but took a little bit of getting used to exactly how you got to, kind of throttle through some of those hills and keep that momentum going. But once we kind of got that all figured out, we were pretty good to go.
Yeah, no big complaints there. We also, it was like a resort town we were driving through too, which was super, super cool.
Yeah, definitely resort town-ish, lots of camping sites, everything like that. So it was a really cool place to go, kind of drive through something different. Just kind of rolled the windows down, turned the music up, and just coasted down some back roads a little bit, which was nice, because we'd been driving for about 20 hours at that point, just straight through 80 miles an hour, fast as we could go. So it was pretty nice just to get on the back road, roll the windows down, and just kind of slow ride.
Yeah, because, well, air conditioning's great and all, but sometimes you want that fresh mountain air, even when you weren't expecting to be in the mountains.
Yeah, we rolled down the windows. I even told Dave, it smells like a pine tree air freshener.
Glade.
You roll down the window and it's just like fresh smell.
Yeah, is Glade here? I mean, is this where they capture? They just bottle. They got this big helicopter that goes over and gathers like a big bottle there.
Bottled at the source.
Yes, definitely. But the resort town, I was surprised that, we heard after talking with Sonny, it's not a ski town, but it really felt kind of like a ski town.
Yeah, I was surprised when he said that, because I was expecting, during wintertime it's high enough up, there's some snow, because it definitely looked like it could have been that kind of place, but I guess what do we know about skiing?
Yeah, the closest thing I know of skiing would be Gatlinburg, and it's all man-made snow, and so we were told before we got out, hey guys, get ready for heat. And now as our audience knows, I'm a land surveyor. You're a car business, so you're outside quite a bit too.
Yeah.
We're used to what's called humidity, and a lot of West Coasters don't realize that it's been 120 in Nashville before, not just once. I mean, a few weeks of that, and so
even though like Sunny and everybody was like, hey, it's gonna be hot, guys. It's gonna be hot. Like, we got out there and I didn't think it was incredibly bad. I mean, I don't know that I'd want to be outside all the time in it, but
no, yeah, I mean, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't anything I wasn't kind of expecting. Obviously, I've been in environments like that. I lived out in the California desert, 29 Palms. I was stationed out there for a while, obviously Afghanistan. So I knew it's that dry heat, that open your oven type of heat.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'd prefer that. I mean, I know people are like, you're just saying that, but I really would prefer that over the humidity, because sometimes walking around that car lot, I mean, you're standing on black asphalt all day. That's heating up. Then you got the humidity. You're sweating. It's just sometimes can get real miserable. I mean, I definitely will say I could tell that the sun was a lot more intense, because after having the windows down, my one arm was kind of burnt. It wasn't burnt, but you could tell it had been out in the sun. When we got out of the truck to go to Cracker Barrel, like, I was like, man, I could tell my arms kind of getting burnt. I was like, that would be one thing. If you lived out here, I'd need some long sleeves or some suntan lotion.
Yeah,
or at least get a tan.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's tattoo friendly. Sun.
Yeah.
But yeah, we roll into Phoenix, and we're coming down out of the mountains, because Phoenix is like 1,500 in elevation. So, and we were 8K, man. I mean, so that was quite we were really coming down. I mean, the mileage for the truck was probably the best it was ever right then.
Yeah.
And of course, I've never been to the Phoenix area before, so we're coming down these hills, and it was just like a light switch. All of a sudden, there's cactus everywhere.
Yeah, it's almost like, I guess, I don't even know. I was like, is it because of elevation? As soon as you hit a certain elevation, but yeah, we started coming down out of those mountains. It's all of a sudden just cactuses everywhere.
And even the scenery was a lot like that as we were heading out there. It was just like, what was it? Like almost at the kind of the Oklahoma line. Bam, it's sandy, sort of. Like you start not seeing grass. And but yeah, so we get there, and we had we knew a time frame that we had to pick up the unnamed Frontier, but we had a little time to kill, because we were cranking through there, even though we took that little bit. Probably it's a shorter distance, but it's sort of a longer distance.
Yeah, well, kind of what happened was we got lost in the Bermuda Triangle of time zones.
Yes.
So in my head, I was calculating, okay, we leave at this time, we'll get there we need to be there at 5. Well, I didn't know, and Dave didn't know, but we crossed the Arizona line, and our watches and phones say, it's an hour later, but the truck's still saying it's an hour, and we sitting there like Robin Williams in Jumanji, what year is it? And it comes a quick Google search later. I guess Arizona doesn't have daylight savings time, so their time is all. I didn't know you could just decide daylight savings. We're not doing that. How about that?
Yeah.
So it gave us an hour cushion.
So you know what? Anytime that you take a trip, you always want to try new things and go to places maybe you've never been. So we decided to go to a place called Cracker Barrel. It was very unexpected. I mean, I've never really, us being on the East Coast and in Tennessee, I've never seen these places, man.
Yeah, I'm a man of simple tastes and pleasures, so to me, why try and experiment with something, especially on a road trip that can totally jack up your stomach, when you can just go with the tried and true Cracker Barrel meatloaf dinner?
Yes, and after talking to you, what you ordered, you were like, man, the last few times I've been here, they never have what I want.
Yeah, shout out to the Cracker Barrel in Tempe, Arizona. Treated us right, because like I said, the Cracker Barrel by my house, I think they have a picture of me in the back, and they say, just do not give this man meatloaf, because the past 3 times I've been to our Cracker Barrel, they've been out of meatloaf. The last time I went, I was like, well, you know what? I'm not even going to order the meatloaf, because they'll be out of it. So I ordered the country fried steak. Guy comes back to me and says, oh, we're actually out of the country fried steak. I was like, damn it. Well, let me get the meatloaf. He's like, all right. About 5 minutes later, guy comes back. You're not going to believe this, but we're out of the meatloaf too. So, Tempe, Arizona, you did it right. You had the meatloaf, and it's actually really good meatloaf.
Of course, something too, when we rolled, obviously we're having fun. We know what Cracker Barrel is, but the one thing that stood out to me in the parking lot was the misting things they had everywhere, because I guess it's so hot, you know, and people have to wait outside that.
Yeah, they're trying to give them some humidity.
Yes, and I appreciated that. But so we roll into Phoenix, we see the Cracker Barrel, Holden's heading that way, and then suddenly it's like, where do you park this vehicle that I'm going to say is at least 26, 27 feet total long? And we didn't. Most Cracker Barrels are like trucker sort of friendly.
Yeah, we saw the sign, so we're like, oh yeah, they usually have like RV kind of parking. I mean, the one by my house, I'm not even on a major. I would consider it a major highway. It's a highway, but it's nothing major, and they still got RV parking back behind it. So I saw the sign, I was like, oh, this would be perfect. Then we kind of turn in there. It's kind of like a mallish area with a Bass Pro Shop, so we start kind of circling around trying to figure out where to park this beast, and then it almost turned it into a game of Snake where we just couldn't run into our own tail. We were kind of going in between cars that we could. But we finally got it all situated and just kind of parked. Yeah. Took up our whole little parking section.
Yeah, we give a big F you to anybody that wanted to park in that area, because this truck took it all. So we did dinner. We roll in. I didn't realize, like, Sonny, I mean, why would we? We're not from there. But Sonny's house was, like, only a couple miles down the road. So that worked out really well. What road was that? Was it the 111? I forget what it was. But, so we roll in, and Sonny, it looked like Sonny had just popped in.
Yeah, he pretty much had just hopped out of his truck, it looked like.
Yeah.
Pulled it up, so perfect timing.
And so we get there, we talk to Sonny, he pulls the truck out and stuff, and just a well-built monster truck, really. I mean, I don't know how you describe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's something you just got to look at the pictures and look at the build specs and everything. But yeah, just awesome rig, just built, ready to go. I think it's just awesome. Like I said, I've had my eye on some trucks from time to time when they come up, especially anything kind of buggy-ish with cages. Just because, I know people are going to be like, why in the world is a dealership buying a truck like this? And we're not just any old dealership. We're not just your normal, hey, we like being involved in the community. We definitely love it. Me and my dad, both Xterra owners, and we wheel and been out to Moab a couple of times. Obviously, we're sponsors of Windrock. So when we see stuff like that, it's definitely something that's interesting to us. And
two, to build this truck, I think Sonny, even after he bought the truck and had it built, I think he's got $20,000 into this rig. So, people will get snotty about it and go, oh yeah, you bought it like that and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it was a deal for what you got. You couldn't build this truck for what y'all, the deal that y'all got on this. So
yeah, and two, nowadays it's a matter of even finding a truck to start the builds too. Sometimes, that can even be difficult, because that's kind of what we wanted, is something a little bit older, something kind of cool, and something that really catches people's eyes.
Well, this platform, this is kind of the last truck platform where you get a manual transfer case. These were sort of like perfect to build something on, and now with the more push button 4-wheel drive and all that, it's a little more difficult to build a really beastly vehicle. So you picked up the truck. We of course, what did you call me? The Asian dude? I'm off of Caddyshack.
Yeah. After staying at Dave's house, we had Caddyshack playing, and there's the part where the guy gets out and he's taking pictures of the parking lot, and he's like, Mr. Wang, it's a parking lot, come on.
Yeah.
So Dave was Mr. Wang with all his photo taking.
Well, I figured that's what I'm here for, is to help document this trip, and I know I've got one GoPro full of like 32 gigs worth of video and pictures, and then my phone's, I forget how many gigs there. Like, we got to really get this thing done. So we load the truck up, we strap it down. I think the reality hit Sonny a little bit of, the truck's leaving.
Yeah, it's like on someone else's trailer. It's about to pull off.
Yeah, and what was funny was, so we're posting on Facebook, like, just that cheeseball excited, like, oh yeah, look what's on the truck. And we get down the road and I start looking at Facebook feed, and somebody was like tagging Sonny in it, like Like, I think they thought his truck was stolen.
So I just saw someone drive by with your truck, Sonny. Hurry up, get home.
Yeah, and but we took a more reasonable route. We give the Cummins diesel here a little more reasonable way to get out of there. We took the 17 up to 40, and it was still a challenge for the vehicle. I mean, it was a good test for this truck.
Yeah, driving out there, I was kind of like, man, this would kind of be cool coming through this national forest when we just kind of went up the top of the mountain. But then after we got on the other side of that, all the up and down, steep grade, we kind of were like, maybe it's not going to be best to, in the dark, be trying to take something like this. And then also there was just the fact of the matter, it was a good chunk of the way with no gas station. And because they were going to add another 4,000 pounds, we weren't exactly sure what kind of fuel mileage we were going to get. So, yeah, we took the safer route straight up to Flagstaff, but that ended up being a test. I mean, Sonny kind of warned us about it, that it was just pretty much uphill the whole way.
Yeah, and you hear that and you go, wow, man, it's not really. No, it was uphill the whole way to Flagstaff.
I think we started at 1,500 feet elevation, and we ended up getting up over 7,000 feet, and it was pretty much just not a gradual, but I mean, it was there was some definitely kind of steepish grade to it.
And what a way to put an extra 4,500 pounds on a truck and then go, oh yeah, because if you haven't towed before, no matter, I don't care if you've owned the trailer for a while, every load is different.
Yeah.
So what a way to have to get used to this load on the truck and how it's going to perform. And do I have it balanced right on the trailer? And then let's crank the diesel down and go.
Yeah, I mean you got bumps and things like that, and the first time you start hitting some bumps, especially some bridges and things like that, you feel that kind of just, and you're like, all right, is everything strapped down good? Did we get it all? So you're kind of checking, but then after a little ways, you kind of get settled into it, and you realize, okay, this is just, we got it good. Be confident in it, and just hammer it down and go, and that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, and from there, of course the trip's fun getting out here because we're looking at things we've never got to see or haven't seen in a long time. And like going back, it's kind of, not, I wouldn't say it was miserable, but it's like, okay, I've seen that. There's not a lot of new adventure that you're going to get to see. So it's like you get in that mode of, we got to crank down and go. And of course, we didn't get into Phoenix till, I guess it was really 5 there times when we met Sonny.
Yeah.
So, the sun, you've got a couple more hours of sun, and then it's getting dark. And I think that night we ended up, you put pretty good miles on us that night.
Yeah, we did.
We got to Winslow, Arizona.
I think it ended up being about 300 something miles. And like I said, I mean, it was uphill, so I mean, we weren't hitting at 75. We were doing about 65 or so.
Left after 2 miles.
So yeah, that's kind of what we wanted. We wanted to get, obviously, on the other side of Phoenix, get some miles that we could, and get us kind of in more of a reasonable range. And we were able to do that, and ended up finding. And
we got to stand on the corner of Winslow, Arizona, so that was always cool. Just like the Eagle said, we were taking it easy. So, yeah, we. What's really bad though when you're traveling, and I'm a man that needs a few things. I need obviously my podcast gear. If I'm going to document this, I need like video gear everywhere, and I need my pillow.
Yeah.
And so when we were headed out, our first stop, I forgot my pillow at the Fairfield Inn there.
Yeah.
And it didn't dawn on me really till the next night when I was like kind of going through my head about what I need to take in, and I was like, uh-oh. So I didn't have my pillow, guys. So I feel sorry for me that the second night out there I wasn't comfy like I could have been.
Yeah, he didn't bring his matching pillow from home, and so definitely on the way back we had to.
I said,
we had to make a rescue mission.
I said, can we stop and get my pillow?
Obviously, with my military background, no man left behind is very serious to me. So that, and plus Kelly pretty much made sure that we stopped because I guess it's the pillow that matches the rest of their bedding.
Yes.
And you can't just have one mismatched pillow.
No, I guess it
throws off the whole vibe.
The balance, the feng shui of the room. But yeah, so we're cranked, man. We're you really pushed it that night, man, because I'm kind of falling asleep over here on the side, and I kind of my eyes are closed, but I'm like, man, going, geez, when? And Holden's like, oh, we got another 200 miles to go, and I'm like, holy hell, what are we doing? And because you've drove this whole trip, and whether you want to admit it or not, I know there's some fatigue to driving this much. I may be an old 43-year-old man, but even in my young days, it would have been a little bit of a fatigue. Of course, we talked, and you were like, dude, I drove 30 hours from 29 Palms to Georgia, like nonstop.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely feel it, but I mean, shout out to Monster and Twix. That's pretty much what this trip's been fueled on. I might have to actually add their logos to the side of the truck after this. But,
yes. Here, let's post a selfie. All right, you get an idea of. I'll post this up, and you'll get an idea of how we're doing this interview.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There's definitely some fatigue. That night, I could definitely feel Dave kind of being like, we need to stop soon. I could kind of feel it in Dave that he was we're about to have some grumpy old man Dave happening if I didn't get him some sleep. So I think that first night when we finally decided to stop in Winslow, Dave was kind of worried that I was just going to keep going because I popped open another Monster and started chugging. He's like, I thought you were just going to keep going.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I was like, uh-oh, here he's getting ready to go. But we stopped, and then the day 3 is when your miles really cranked in, man. What total? Yeah. I think you did another 1,000.
We did a hair over 1,100 miles that day. Yeah.
And which we've seen these Indian casinos coming out. We kept joking around.
What is going on, everybody? Let me talk to you a little bit about Lifestyle Off-Road. What is Lifestyle Off-Road? What do they do? Well, let me tell you, they make custom t-shirts, they make custom graphics, stickers, you name it. They also have their own line of clothing. I wear a lot of it, man. I personally like their designs and what they do and how they support, the off-road community and especially the Nissan community. So if you need something from custom stickers, I love you grandma, whatever you want to put on your car, maybe family reunion t-shirts, maybe t-shirts for your club or event, give them a shout over there at www.lifestyleoffroad.com or check them out on Facebook at Lifestyle Off-Road. Be sure to tell them the NNP sent you.
All right, so we are back. And like Danny likes to say, Fat Finger Dave came out there, and we hit some bumps and accidentally hit the pause button there. So we were saying we put some miles on this truck, 1,100 miles. We're cranking back, and we find the casinos, and we had pushed to get this truck. Holden has stretched the miles per gallon out. It's about as far as I think you could really do it, because by the time we got fuel there, you put this tank, I think it's 24-gallon tank, and I think it was 23.7 is what you filled it up to.
Yeah, and I mean, we could have put more in there. They kind of cut you off at 75 because there was a earlier time where I put like 24.05 or something in there.
Jeez, so you've really stretched this thing out, and you didn't even tell me this. You're like, oh no, let's.
That was when you were busy enjoying your pizza. You missed it.
Oh, dang it. Yeah. So keto and pizza and all that. Yeah. Thanks for calling me out.
But yeah, we definitely kind of stretched the mileage there. Dave was a little scared, a little bit scared. I could feel
scared,
it.
But I think the adult in me came in of like making adult decisions and.
Old man Dave's like, listen here, whippersnapper, we're pulling up for gas, and that's final.
That's right. Grumpy Bear came out, and was no, but you stopped, and we couldn't get fuel one spot, and then it's like I seen on the gauge it was like 23 or 4 miles left on the gauge, and I think the sign said like 24 miles to the next town, and you're like zero F's given, man. Let's just go for it, and. So you did it. You made it to Fort Collins and
Fort Smith.
And Fort Collins. That is the wrong state.
I don't know where Fort Collins is.
That would be Colorado. But we got there. We fueled up, and what is there? That fancy Cherokee casino.
Yeah, as we're filling up, just the neon lights were calling our name.
They were, and it brought flashbacks of the Wolf Pack. except we were only a 2-person wolf pack. And so we get checked in, super nice place. You can tell it's really new. We see some sketchy people there. I won't say, I guess not sketchy as in like might try to mug you, but just sketchy as in they might have just came from work and they're putting every penny they have made that week into a slot machine.
Yeah, I mean, and let's not forget, this is midnight on a Wednesday night, and the place has, I mean, people just, they almost look like nocturnal type animals, just big bug-eyed, just the lights of the machines calling the penny slots, just sitting there.
When they don't, like I was, and I'm not anybody that loves slot machines, I'm not shitting on you by any means, it's just like, it was a funny middle of nowhere casino that you would see these people playing 2 or 3 slots at a time, too.
Yeah, they'd have them all lined up, and
they didn't look happy. Is the thing. Me and you with a drink in hand are walking around later with, putting a couple dollars in, happy.
Yeah, there was definitely no. I did not see any smiles really, except from the car dealers. Those were pretty much the only people smiling.
Yes, but we got checked in, and we both were like, man, let's go get a drink. Yeah. And I knew what that meant was, let's go put $1 in a slot machine and see what happens.
Yeah, play a couple dollars in the slot machine.
I mean, because when in Rome, right?
Exactly, when in Rome.
And speaking of when in Rome, I had an Anchorman slot machine, and it was calling my name, man. And I made a couple dollars on that. I was quite surprised. And when I mean dollars, that's what I mean. Like, there was no big winnings on these things.
Yeah, when you're playing penny slots, big winnings is just that.
But I think they took your money pretty quick, though.
Yeah, I was not as lucky on the machines, but I still had a smile on my face, though.
You did, because we were having fun. And we, you don't realize, how bad you need just a little bit of fun when you've done, at that point, probably 2,500 miles. Well, no, it'd be more than that. Probably 2,800 miles.
Yeah.
And you don't realize, you've been in a truck for 3 days. I mean, clearly we stop and sleep and shower and stuff, but you still kind of just feel like a yucky,
And it's funny because it's one of those things where it's like midnight, and we're both pretty tired, but it's still let's just kind of do something normal-ish. Let's go down and get a beer and, play a couple slots. I mean, just, there's no point sleeping in a casino if you're not at least going to have a drink and play some slots.
Right.
Because
we only spent an hour or so there, too. It wasn't that.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy. And then, we knew Little Rock was about 2 hours away, so I kind of, in my head, was like, well, we can leave at 8. That way we miss the Little Rock kind of traffic, so we weren't going to leave out bright and early to try to avoid it. We were just going to come on the backside since we made such good time. So, yeah, we just kind of enjoyed it because, I mean, that day we hadn't really stopped for anything other than gas.
Yeah, we didn't do dinner that day or anything, really.
So we kind of let's just have a...
Oh, and speaking of dinner, if you ever get a chance to go on a trip with Holden, you better pack a damn lunch, is what I'm going to say, because I'm used to traveling. Even if we, I've told stories the last podcast that when my dad, it was I'll hammer down, but he would stop for dinner. Not Holden. Holden, you're a man of focus.
I like to think that I am, Dave. I mean, we're going on the 4th day, and I've only had 2 meals, and then everything else has pretty much just been a
Twix bar,
bars and Monsters. And that's pretty much what I've lived off of.
I've never seen a man so fit that lives off Twix bars on a trip, but if it can be done, Holden's done that. But yeah, so we've hammered it down today. It left us 650 miles, I think, to my house, and then you've got another couple hundred more, and we're in the great state of Tennessee now. So as we're doing this, we've just gone through Memphis. We're going to have to fuel up soon because there's nothing from past Jackson really to Nashville. But I instantly, as you cross your state line, you feel, I'm at home now. We've got trees again. There's green grass. I'm pretty sure if I rolled down the window, we'd feel the humidity a little bit.
Yeah, we got Boondocks Western Store right ahead.
Oh,
so you definitely know we're in.
We got to get Boondocks a picture of that.
We're in Tennessee.
Speaking of, where is Boondock? Oh, they've got IKEA. Oh, that's the new IKEA. Looky there. They've got everything here in Memphis, and I don't have nothing.
Back to civilization.
See, if we were my wife, we'd be stopping at IKEA right now. I guarantee you.
What else can we load on this trailer?
Yeah. And I love IKEA. The little meatballs, the goofy meatballs are awesome. Because when we go down to Atlanta, if we go to see Holden and stuff, there's going to be an IKEA visit. We're going to go downtown Atlanta and visit IKEA. So there you go, IKEA. I'll expect that sponsorship check any minute now. But yeah, so this trip has been relatively, I hate to say easy because it's exhausting, but the Titans performed well. These zero gravity inspired seats have been awesome.
Yeah.
The first day, I did notice, like, just because I wasn't used to riding this long, my tailbone was kind of like, a little bit. But after that, man, it's been great. Lots of room.
Yeah, I mean, the only real problem we've had is just we had a issue. I wouldn't even call it an issue, but we were blowing a fuse for the trailer lights. I noticed our first night when we stopped in New Mexico, when it started getting dark, the running lights were working, but the blinker and brake wasn't. So we kind of said, hey, we're about to stop, so we'll remedy that in the morning. And in the morning, I pulled the fuse. It was blown, so I took the fuse from the horn, put it in there. At the trucker stop, I got some 20, they're 15 amp fuses. I got some 20 amp fuses. And it popped again, so I put a 20 amp in, but then we also kind of were like, Dave had a charger. Sometimes you get those aftermarket weird chargers.
Yeah, little cheap things.
So I'm not it could have been that because we changed the fuse to a 20 amp fuse and also unplugged his charger at the same time. We haven't had an issue since. But that's where the nice thing about the Titan is. Right there in the rear center console, there's a power inverter where Dave could just plug in all his equipment for charging everything up. So really it became a non-factor after that. Other than that,
I will say for if you we've talked about Project Base Camp and all that. If you were doing some kind of overlanding thing, like this truck's really set up. It is set up well with like the inverter that's built in. There's one in the bed. I've had zero problems charging all my GoPros and stuff. So that has been nice. And I know there's other brands that offer this stuff, but this is the longest trip I've made in a truck like this. So it's been super, super handy. Of course, this truck has cup holders like in every known position you can find them. And I think we've put all these to use as well.
Yeah, I pretty much almost have something in every cup holder, whether it be a gun, a Monster, more Twix,
Powerade here. I've got my water bottle. So yeah, but so as we kind of wind down this, I think this has been a pretty fun epic adventure. I've been on some because this was not really planned. Like a week and a half ago is kind of when you were like, you want to ride with me?
I think Monday or Tuesday is when I kind of said, hey, we're getting it. And I know my dad was like, well, how are we going to get it? Send a car hauler? I was like, well, or we could take a Titan out there and pick it up and, kind of use that for some sales material too. Because, that's something, it's one of those things, sometimes it's not so much, is it really that epic? I think it's a big deal. You're doing essentially once you add me going to my house and everything, you're almost 4,000 miles in 4 days.
Yeah.
Granted, you're normal guys who kind of know things. That's not unheard of. That's not insane.
But this truck is not like an F-350 or something either. That's built for long. It's obviously it's a diesel and it's capable of the long haul. But this is a long haul truck, for short distance, I would say.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. We can just tell customers, this truck did it. So it's one of those things. If you have a question on can this truck make a long haul, yes, it can. We did it. And here's the pictures of our truck. We kind of tried to take pictures of the truck out in different spots and locations.
Every fuel stop.
Yeah. So it's something that I'm going to use when we go back to at our dealership because, like I said, we're focused on some Titan sales and starting the truck department. So when you get those people like, oh, I'm not sure if it can, I can say, hey, we've done it. Here's the proof, and I think it's going to be a big deal. So yeah, it was something fun where we said, let's do it ourselves and then use it for some advertising. But yeah, we pretty much were like, well, we're gonna go pick it up. So Dave kind of mentioned it, and as soon as he mentioned it, I was like, hell yeah, ride with me.
Yeah, dude, because I like stupid trips that don't make sense. Not this obviously made sense. You were going to get something, but when me and JR went out to Denver and just did 17 straight hours, I thought, It's the longest thing I've ever done. And like we've done that a couple times now on this trip, like just long, maybe 15, 16 hours, but just long hauls. And I will say in the Frontier, the seats are not as nice. And you did get a little, your back got sore, and I've not had any problems in this truck whatsoever. But I want to give a big shout out there to my buddies over at Regal. They, for bringing me along on this, Bo and Holden and everybody. This has been a fun trip. Learned so much more about this truck, even because I own one, but I don't own the XD. But I've learned so much more about this, and really seeing what they're capable of. Because you see it, you see, oh yeah, it the brochure says it's capable of this stuff, but till you really put one to a test, you can't legitimately talk about these vehicles. And even though I know you like your dealership and stuff, like you said, this gives you credibility to go, look, this truck did this trip. Yeah. And it did it well. It's no problems. So, but I want to, if you guys would go over to Regal Nissan and at least like them on their Facebook pages, we've posted a couple contests on this trip, giving some patches away, and you're giving some hats and patches away. Yeah. We, and you know, we've got this epic Frontier that Sonny's on the back of this thing, man. And I know as I wrap this up, like, Holden, it's been killing him. For one, he wants to drive the vehicle. Like, we literally got to Sonny's, drove it up on the ramp. All right, we got to go.
Yeah, he pulled it out of his garage and pulled it out and was like, I just told him, I was like, you can just go ahead and pull it on the trailer, because I knew if I even got in it, I'd want to take, so I was just like, I just won't even get in it at all. I just had him pull it up on the trailer too, so I haven't yet to get in it and really drive it.
Yeah, you sat the seat for a minute when you were putting some patches and stuff in on the inside, because we had to tag the truck, you know.
Oh yeah.
You got to start to make it your own. But I know it's been killing you. We've talked back and forth about some of your ideas, because you want to do some wrapping or something on this truck, something cool. And we've called over our buddy over at Lifestyle Off-Road, Luke Panko, and was like, hey man, here's ideas. Kind of work us up something. And so the Went is coming up, man. And I guess it's kind of the debut of this truck a little bit for the East Coast then.
Yeah. I mean, like we talked, I'm not really going to get into, changing anything really. I mean, I'm going to obviously clean it up some, do some cosmetic stuff starting off.
Take this to your detail guy and say, hey, I want to shine it.
Definitely going to get Luke, hopefully he can do it at Went to get it wrapped. But other than that, I'm just going to drive it first. So we're going to drive it. We're going to, see what it's about. We're not going to just all of a sudden start trying to change things on it. And then we're going to take it places too. We're going to obviously still off-road it. I know some people are concerned it's just never going to be off-roaded again. I don't think you have to worry about that.
No, knowing your family, it's going to get put to some fun.
Yeah, it's going to come down to like a set schedule of, all right, it's your turn this week, my turn next week. So it's definitely going to be used, and then it's also going to be taking places where people can see it. I mean, I'm already envisioning, taking a Titan whenever we go to some of these sponsorship things where we're taking Titans anyways, pulling up with this thing on the trailer. Because sometimes it just gets people talking. It gets people, oh, let's go look at that freak truck over there.
Yeah, because we've gotten a lot of attention.
Yeah, and then while they're there, they're going to hopefully check out the new Titan as well. And it's one of those just visual things. I mean, if you know what you're talking about, you know that truck's probably, we're guessing 3,000 to 4,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But to the average guy, average Joe, who, doesn't really ever haul anything, he just kind of wants a truck because he, every once in a while picks up stuff at Home Depot, he probably thinks that truck weighs a lot more than what it does. So when he sees that pull up, it's a real attention getter. Yeah. And something that sticks in people's minds. So sometimes that's what it's about.
When I can see this truck just having it hooked up to this right in front of the dealership, just, once that thing's wrapped a little bit, and it's just, clearly you guys bought it for some attention gathering. I mean, obviously you want an killer off-road truck that's West Coast built, but yeah, it's definitely, it's a tool for the dealership, and it's just gonna be fun at Went when we see you in about a month and a half, I guess we see you at Went. And so as we wrap this up, I want to once again say thank you to Regal for allowing me to come along, allow me to give some Indian casinos some money. I feel better about myself now.
I've given back to the community a little bit. Also want to say thank you to my buddy at Lifestyle Off-Road who does all the stickers and stuff that we've tried to plaster in places around the country. Want to say a big shout out to Danny. You're going to see a video pop up, and we got Danny on the phone talking to us a little bit. We miss you, buddy, and I know this is killing you that you couldn't be in one of these seats with us, because it's been a fun trip, guys. And even though it's been 4 days of just grueling getting out there and getting back, we've had a pretty epic time. So, from everybody here at the Nissan Nation podcast, to my buddy JR, who helped us some of the music, to my awesome wife Kelly, who allowed me to come on this trip and spend 4 days with my buddy Holden. Want to say thank you to Holden's wife for allowing him to come out, because she's called him a few times going, hey, when you getting back? I need some help with the baby. So from everybody here at the Nissan Nation podcast, my name is David Boyd, and what are we? Out. Peace, everybody.